Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to X Games Austin as we kick off our third day of 4 here at the brand new venue at the Circuit of the Americas. We're getting straight into the action here. We've got the Rallycross lights about to get underway. We've got Colton Herter and Mackenzie. We've got Mitchell de Jong, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Austin Cedric in this race. We've got 5 cars, 5 drivers for this semi-final, 6 laps, and the leading 3 will advance. Somebody had a bit of a drop start there. That looked like Colton Herter, who had a bit of a jump start. But as we go off the tarmac onto the dirt for the first time, it looks like Mitchell de Jong who's got the whole shot.
Mitchell's been incredibly quick throughout the practice, and it's pretty wet out there. Look at that water on the course. It's going to be really slippery. These guys tippy-toeing through, and Nelson Piquet Jr. right there in second spot.
Next up, it's Austin Cedric with the number 6 car, number 77 car in third position with the white bonnet to it. Now these permanent 4-wheel drive, 2-litre, 300 horsepower cars, a great way to really get into the groove and really, as we've seen later, as we will see later today, Paul, of how to become a rallycross expert.
Yeah, this is a perfect training ground. These cars are incredible. Don't let that 300 horsepower fool you. As light as these cars are, mid-engine, all-wheel drive, sequential gearbox. These are the real deal, and they're very, very quick around these courses. And these drivers really pushing very, very hard around there. Now you can see them all sliding, even on the tarmac, when they get to this third section.
Okay, it's a lot better through the dirt section now. Here today you can see the smoother line. This Texas clay has been packed down throughout practice for the Rallycross lights cars and also the supercars that we will see here later today at the Circuit of the Americas. So then over the line once more, we start the third lap of 6. I remind you the leading 3 will advance, but there are 2 people who are going to be going home with no points and no further action this weekend after the flag drop.
Yeah, they're going to have to really get after it on those last couple of positions if they want to get up in one of those transfer spots. They're going to have to really start putting their foot down now. The one thing that we haven't talked about yet is we have the option of doing what we call the Joker lap. And we haven't seen anyone take that yet, and they will at some point get the shortcut, and that can make the difference. It makes you up about 10-15 car lengths with about a second and a half of track time, and that absolutely could take you from one position and put you in front of the guy you've been following.
Nelson Piquet Jr., he's driving here in second position. He's getting a lot of track time here this weekend because we will see him later today in the supercar quarterfinals, and he hopes the semi-final and then the final. The man from Brazil closing in on de Jong, is he somewhat?
A little bit there, and it's amazing when you think here's little young Patrick de Jong, starting out in his racing career, and he's got someone that's got many years of Formula 1 experience, NASCAR experience, you name it. Nelson has done it, and he's holding them off, doing a pretty good job around the course. So it really is an amazing thing to see the difference in experience levels, where we're talking about 15-year-olds up to 30-year-olds in here with varying experience levels, all trying to gain an advantage when they move up into the supercar. Nelson Piquet Jr., in his case, he's doing that this afternoon.
Mitchell de Jong, just 16 years old. Nelson Piquet Jr., 28 years old in second place. As we start the last lap, we're back onto the original Circuit of the Americas permanent racetrack. It's 3.4 miles in length. We're using the sort of infield area, and then we cut over that curve that will catch some people out between now and whenever we go home later today. That's the checkered flag, so de Jong wins it. Piquet Jr. gets second place. Third is going to be Cindric. Yes, it looks like he's advanced.
There we go, and that's the son. There's Tim Cindric, who, of course, is the managing director of Penske's racing operation, and so that's his son out there. And we also have Brian Herta's son as well. So we've got a little bit of an IndyCar second-generation rivalry going on here.
And with Nelson Piquet Jr., his father, Nelson Piquet, the 1981, 83, and 87 Formula 1 world champion when he won it with Brabham and then with Williams. He hasn't got big shoes to fill, but he's doing a very good job here today. No better job, though, from de Jong.
Yeah, and you can look, there's a lot of slip angle there. Piquet got in very hot. de Jong a little tighter, and I think that's the advantage. The real trick here is keeping the car very, very tidy. We certainly think sliding looks spectacular, but you can see there that minimal slip is really what separates usually the front guys from the back guys. They tend to be sliding too much in the back.
So what the cars will do now is return to the service area. These Rallycross lights cars will be in the middle of your shot with those pointed roofed tent marquees that you could see there, but it's quick, fast stuff here at X Games. You should know that. So we've now got our next semi-final having lined up. We have got Kevin Eriksson. There he is with his blue and white Olsberg's car. We have then got alongside him Abreu. We've got Sykes, Fernandez, and Tyler Benson as well. So this is not an easy one to call from my viewpoint. Yeah.
These guys were all very, very quick in the preliminaries, and I would give the nod here to Eriksson, who's actually a very close friend of Dion, who we just saw win the prior race. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch how these guys match up. And with these standing starts and that funnel into turn one, Toby, we're going to see this throughout the day today. It's always kind of a hold your breath moment, isn't it? Watching these cars all launch and have to funnel in not only to a narrower surface, but also changing surface into the dirt surface as they go into turn number one. So it really is critical to get a really good launch and get the car lined up well onto the dirt. And of course, trying to avoid any contact with any of the cars around you, which will really only slow you down.
Don't make a jump start. If you do, you'll have to make a 5-second stop-go penalty in the sort of sin bin box, the drive-through box that we've got positioned half around the racetrack. So we will have a start, whatever. They're holding them quite a long time. There'll be a lot of heat in those cars on a day like today.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. The temperatures will be climbing. The drivers also, their stress level will be growing. There we are 10 to go now, so we should be revving them up and launching in just a few seconds.
Here we go, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. When they go green, we're racing. Great start, brilliant start from Fernandez. Will he be able to find a way through? There's contact in the front. Fernandez having a go, but it is going to be Eriksson who leads at the moment as he comes through ahead of Abreu.
Blue side by side going on back there. Oh, and a bump there. Sykes got knocked a little wide. Jeff Sykes got knocked wide there. And he got back in line, but it cost him a few seconds. He was lost a position and a little bit of time.
Fernandez up to 3rd position. The Colombian battling. In front of him is Abreu, the Brazilian, with the lime green nose to the car. But Kevin Eriksson, the Swede with the number 96, is just disappearing with this one. Again, another youngster, just 17 years old. They get younger and younger, or is it just us getting older and older?
Let's not talk about that, Toby. The first 3 took the Joker on that lap, so they've got it all out of the way. And the other guys perhaps having a strategy of putting down some hard laps now and taking the Joker a little bit later and maybe being able to jump up into one of those transfer positions. So we'll have to see how that develops.
Talking about transferring positions, you can see the transfer of weight with the Eriksson car leading as it leans on that outside tyre and puts all of the weight onto it, pushing that rubber into the ground. They've got new Yokohama tyres for this year for the Rallycross lights and also the supercars that we will see later. Some people love them, some people don't.
Yeah, it's a massive change, isn't it? Going not only changing a brand, but we went from a bias ply construction to a radial construction. So anyone that ever remembers that transition, if you're old enough to remember having bias plies on a road car, it's a big difference in the way radials performed and how they handled it. And our drivers are having to go through that now here at X Games Austin.
A lot stiffer construction with the tyres that we've got now. The cross plies, as I would call them back home, were the ones that they used last year. A lot more compliance in the tyre, a lot more give in the tyre. You could maybe have more feel, but you had less absolute grip.
That's right. That's the advantage of a radial, and that's what they sold us on too when we started selling them on our road cars. Like you're gonna like them, trust us, and they are absolutely faster around the track, but they're a bit more knife edge, and that makes things a little trickier for the drivers, especially our inexperienced, relatively lights drivers.
So the 2-litre cars putting their 300 plus horsepower down onto the ground as we've got a lap and a bit to go. This is the battle for who will go through to the final and who will not at the moment. It's Sykes in 3rd and Fernandez in 4th. Not a lot between them. What's that? That's about 8 car lengths. So Fernandez got to really lean on Sykes if he's going to have a chance. The man who is untouchable so far, and it looks to be to the flag, is still Kevin Eriksson. One more lap to go.
Yeah, Kevin, I think, is going to be pretty strong here in the final, and he's doing a very, very good job in keeping the car very clean. You can see how tidy they are in that area. But here we've got this battle coming in this last lap to see who's going to get that last transfer position. And there they are right there. And you can see Fernandez just trying to chase down Sykes. And Sykes, they had that little coming together on the first lap, and Fernandez was in the lead, so somewhere that ended up getting swapped, and now Sykes is actually pulling away a little bit, so Fernandez really got to put his head down.
I'd love to see the lap-by-lap chart from Kevin Eriksson and see what kind of lap times he's done, but it doesn't matter because that's a perfect run from Eriksson. He goes through to the final. So does Abreu, and so does Sykes. So we've got a Swede, a Brazilian, and an American advancing with this second semi-final result. Let's have another look at the start and see how lovely and cuddly it was getting in the middle there.
It did get pretty tight there, and it kept on going all the way to the jump. But look at him here. There's that first little bit of contact there on the outside. And then pretty clean, and then there we go. Sykes and Fernandez already. They battled all the way through that race. And look at that nice slow motion there. And you can see, again, that nice little slide he had going into the turn, and now he's got the wheels perfectly straight, accelerating out. And that's the most efficient way to do it. If you let the car slide too far over driver's left, you end up losing acceleration down the straightaway, and it'll actually cost you time. So perfectly done.
By the time he got to the finish line, it was a faultless run. The car is in perfect condition. The mechanics don't need to do any work. And Abreu and Sykes going through as well. So we will now look forward to our Rallycross Lights final. Over 10 laps, so a bit longer to go when you rejoin us here at X Games Austin at the Circuit of the Americas. Welcome back here to the Circuit of the Americas, X Games Austin. We're having a Rallycross day today. Ford Rallycross. We are looking forward to that and seeing who is going to be a gold medalist to join the names such as Faust, Deegan, Lowe.
Hey everybody,
Speed,
it's Ken Block. I'm here at X Games in Austin, and this is the GoPro course preview. And sitting next to me is Olympic gold medalist for skiing, Sage Cossenberry. Just kidding, not skiing. What's up, Sage?
Snowboarding. I'm a little out of my element.
Yeah?
I'm a little bit out of my element.
Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready. Let's kick Austin off.
Yes.
Let's do this.
doing 70 miles an hour. It's as quick as that, as Ken Block launches the Ford Fiesta off the line and onto the dirt. There is no rest for the wicked. Just look how violent it all is.
Yeah, these cars accelerate so hard and they do everything so violently. And here we go. Speaking of which, going over a jump, landing that jump after 70, 80 feet of airtime through onto the pavement. You can see the passengers' reaction there. Just absolute astonishment at the speed of these cars.
Look at him holding his right leg up. He can't believe that the car is going to make the corner, because it's not just about the acceleration, it's about the braking forces as well. Stunning experience. And that is what it looks and feels like. And now this is an overview of what the Rallycross course looks like.
So they launched from a standing start, accelerating up 70, 80 miles an hour in a very short amount of time, transition to the dirt. Now they're into the dirt section, running through there, across the jump, back onto the tarmac again, and now into a couple of right-hand corners that let them transition. There's the penalty box. If you get it all wrong, you might spend a little bit of time in there and pretty much ruin your race. And then the Joker lap, you get to take that once, only once, during any of the heats, and that's a shortcut that will give you about 10 or 15 car lengths advantage.
But let's catch up with a man who won gold in Munich last year. It's the British bomb. It's Liam Doran.
It's all about the driver and the car, man and machine. I'm absolutely useless without a good car. The good car is absolutely useless without a good driver. With Rallycross, anything can happen. In Munich last year, I had a flat tyre on the second lap. I was telling myself there's absolutely no chance I'm going to make it to the finish line.
Doran wins with only 3 tyres.
No matter what happens, you just got to keep pushing on and going as hard as you can. We are trying to take these cars faster and harder than they're designed or willing to go. It's down to whoever's willing to push the hardest.
So as the Rallycross light cars have a little bit of service before their final in a few minutes' time, the supercars have been practicing over the last couple of days. Some of the cars have had their moments. Ken Block having a bit of a moment a couple of days ago with his Ford Fiesta, and this is how it happened for Block. He just got caught out coming into this left-hander.
Yeah, and it was all good through here. That's okay hitting the curb, but it's the next left that got him. He actually catches the curb, and then that ends up breaking his front suspension, and it all comes to pieces as he goes over the jump.
The Hoonigan crew, they sorted it in no time at all. And this is how fast they managed to fix it. They've had a lot of work going on with that car, because only a couple of weeks ago in Barbados, it had a big accident, and it's been back to the UK to export. It's been reshelled. It's had so much work done to it, but they're here and they're ready to go racing with the Ford Rallycross quarterfinals, the semis, and hopefully for them the final later. And our Scott Speed, he won gold at Foz de Guassou the very first time he actually jumped into a Rallycross supercar last year. And this is how he did it with the white RDO Ford Fiesta. It was a bit of a battle through the first corner alongside Patrick Sandell. Speed was down into second position at this point, and then he dropped down to third. The Brazilian dust. And as you can see, it was very dusty, but this is how he turned it around. He took the Joker lap on the very last lap, and listen to the roar from the crowd. And he won gold the very first time he jumped into a Rallycross car. He didn't even have his helmet painted up. He couldn't believe it. Now, Scott Speed, 12 months later, is a big name in GRC, in Global Rallycross. He won the first round in Barbados a few weeks ago.
He's a force to be reckoned with, and everyone's really paying attention to Scott because he's got a bit of a different driving style to the typical Rallycross driver, and he's having huge success with it. And he's a bit tidier as a driver and slides the car less. And less flamboyant, less extreme, but very, very quick.
But that's all the Rallycross supercars that we'll be seeing later. In the meantime, we are going to see the Rallycross Lights final in which 6 cars, 6 drivers will battle over 10 laps, lining up on the front row. Mitchell de Jong ahead of Kevin Eriksson, ahead of Nelson Piquet Jr. Now that is a lineup, my goodness me. The second row, we've got Abreu, we've got Cindric, and we have got Sykes. That is not an easy race to call or pick from here.
No, I mean, that front row is really, really stout. I mean, we've got Nelson Piquet Jr., who, of course, who is an actual rallycross driver in the supercar ranks. Very, very successful, incredibly experienced. And then we've got a couple of young guns that are just showing him no respect, basically. They're going for it every time they go out there. And de Jong, of course, beating Nelson Piquet Jr. in the heat race.
So as these guys line up, going out towards the grid before their Rallycross Lights final here at the Circuit of the Americas, we're just going to prepare ourselves.
Yesterday the curbing was larger. It looks like it's reshaped today to be a little bit shorter, but I think we're going to be shorter. People are going to cut it. So you know, shooting in all the curbing there in turn 3, and a little nudge in the back. Okay, you go. Do you think the drivers are going to be more aggressive here in this final? Absolutely. It is fun. What's around here all week? Yeah. Checkers or wreckers? We'll find out. Who's going to be bashing out? 6 athletes saw that in the semifinals, and now they are in 6 athletes, 10 laps now. So hopefully it doesn't spread them out. Critical first turn, right 1 through 6, and of course the top 3 are going to be holding that signature X Games Teha belt buckle medal. The way they're ranked here, coming to choose their spots, this could have a big impact on how the race goes. Where you've been able to line your car up here in the start. Yeah, as we saw, Fernandez was in that back row, and he had the good start, but kind of almost had to hold up. Was cordial, and now here he is. He's not in the final. So you know what? You might be friends in the paddock, but right now those are off or on, metaphorically speaking. Regardless, they're gonna I'll say so. Nelson there on the outside of the front row. Tanner was there yesterday on the start. Was dead even on the start, but managed to break later than anybody into turn 1, turn across, and it came out of turn 3. So McCann Jr. in that GoPro vehicle. Eriksson, Jean on the front line. This is going to be exciting. This should be good. I'm super pumped right now. Austin, those that are here, thank you for joining us. You guys are hardcore, sweating out all day with us. You're going to be seeing, obviously you're seeing Rallycross Lights. You'll see supercars just a little bit. Join us for, Moto Sweden style, Moto X freestyle tonight. We have the GoPro BMX Big Air Final. BMX Dirt is going on the other side of Circuit of the Americas. The music, the party, the festival, the libations. Grab a drink, grab a good time. It's going to be a great afternoon. Remember to stay hydrated though, right? Man, Pop, seriously. Pop. Hey, look.
We're back here live at the Circuit of the Americas. The Rallycross Lights cars are all lined up on the grid, but let's have a quick look back to the second race at Munich last year. This is Liam Doran offering his hand to Thomas Heikkinen. Heikkinen not taking it. There was a bit of needle there. I fancy that we may see a little bit of that needle later today. The gold medalists that we have had in last year's X Games, Scott Speed in Brazil, Liam Doran with just 3 tyres on his Mini in the first race in Munich, Thomas Heikkinen in that second race, and then he won at Los Angeles, whilst Tanner Faust won the Gymkhana, the very first time that we saw the Gymkhana as part of the X Games in last August in Los Angeles. A great event and a great spectacle. When is it not a great spectacle with 600 horsepower going through these cars?
It just gets more and more exciting because these guys are just getting better and better. The cars are faster and faster, and the fields are just deeper and deeper with talent. So it's just incredible to watch. And even as we get ready to watch some lights here, the talent in this field is incredibly awesome to watch. And it's going to be an exciting lights final.
Because the man who won all of the Rallycross Lights races last year, Johnny Veman, he has advanced into the supercar class and he is something else as well. So let's keep an eye on Mitchell de Jong, shall we? Because he's a star for the future. In fact, he's a star now.
Yes, here they go. This is exciting stuff.
Okay, 4 lights, 5 lights, we're underway. Oh, creeping, he forgot that there's a gap. That was Nelson Piquet Jr. with the GoPro car, but into the lead, it is going to be de Jong who leads, with Ericsson in second place, with Piquet Jr. in third position. Then we have got a Brew in, oh no, complete logjam.
Yeah, it looks like he got up on, Cedric got up on the wheel of Sykes there, and then that got stuck, and Piquet Jr. parked at the apex right there at the hairpin.
So that's a big gap there, and they're still there. He can't get it started. Piquet Jr. cannot get it started. There's a red, and indeed there is a red flag being thrown. So what we will do, we'll just hold station here for a moment. Yeah, these hot engines sometimes, Paul, you just can't get them started.
It's really tricky. And then the sequential boxes, sometimes they can't get the car back into neutral to start the car, so that ends up being an issue at times as well, and especially in the heat of the moment.
So as they came off the tarmac, they got onto the dirt. De Jong led with Ericsson. Look at Piquet in third position with the blue nose to his car with the grey bumper, and this was the corner.
And here's the nudge. He gets that nudge, and that turns him around, and all 3 of them just are parked at that point.
Well, there's 900 horsepower there going nowhere, isn't there?
Exactly right. There he is. Here you'll see the impact. Oh, so he got up on the back and drove him into him. So that was sort of a bit of a chain reaction there, where Cindric got into Sykes, and that put him up into Piquet Jr.
And Piquet Jr. just went a little bit too far anyway. So we've got a red flag that has just been thrown here. And whilst the race officials work out what is going to happen, what we are going to do is to double check everything and make sure we're going to be ready to race in a few moments' time.
So we'll get all the cars reset here. Global Rallycross Lights finals. We got a red flag. We'll get a restart. And Jennifer Cross will be in the back of the pack. So when we come back, the action continues. Rallycross Lights finals. 10 laps. Who's going to get it?
Welcome to the ESPN X Games Austin 2014. Brought to you by America's Navy, Ford, GoPro, and Monster Energy.
America's Navy, a global force for good.
I'm Brian Deegan, and it's time for another Deegan Dancing Challenge. This time we're gonna have some fun with my buddy X Games gold medalist Ryan Sheckler. That was insane. For this year, I'm gonna make him jump my race truck over this BSS.
See if Ryan Sheckler is up for the challenge and enter for a chance to win a new Fiesta ST at xgames.com/forward.
I dare you.
Back on the grid for the Rallycross Lights final. We had a red flag after just a quarter of a lap at the tight hairpin. There was a total roadblock, so we've lined them back up on the grid, and we're getting ready to race in a moment's time. They've wheeled Abreu back in his number 51 car. And now they're bringing him back to the position. So we're just in a holding pattern here for a moment. Very hot in those cars. Piquet Jr. got the door open. Everybody else trying to get some cool air in the car. And the reason why we're having this restart is because of this.
Piquet a little bit wide on the start. It almost looked like he had jumped and trying to make it all up here. And he comes into the hairpin, gets sideways, and then behind him we got Cedric running into Abreu and then running into Piquet. So there were sort of two incidents all rolled into one there. Here's another good angle on it.
So Piquet at this angle just pulled the handbrake and just overcooked it. And by the time he was going to get back on the throttle, he had a couple of other Rallycross lights cars coming to talk to him in very close proximity.
Alex Sykes did a really nice job going around the outside of all that. Missed it all. That was pretty heads up of him.
Yeah, he was the winner out of that one, wasn't he?
He was. 3 positions, the easy way.
Yes, he was the winner out of that one. So Piquet Jr. with the similar helmet design that his father took to Formula One success, but not with the red, but with a nice blue color scheme that he's got this time. He's on that front row. He jumped the start at Foz do Iguaçu last year. He was looking to do well at home in Brazil, but unfortunately just jumped the start and it all went backwards. But he won't make that mistake again.
One would hope.
One would hope. One would hope, because Abreu has lost his front bumper. A lot more cooling in there. Aerodynamics, not necessarily a big talking point, but those wheels don't look good. In fact, on Abreu's car, they look as if they're pointing in the wrong direction. So who is... If there is a... that's where it happened. It just tagged that front left of Abreu's car. Sykes just tagged him, and that's where the steering will have been broken for Abreu. Look at that left-hand front. It's pointing in the wrong direction.
Yep, that's not good between those two guys right there. They're supposed to be pointing both straight ahead right now, and that's a problem.
So the race official saying, sorry, buddy, there's no way you can run in this race. And the driver should know that. And Joey Mancari, the race steward, is going to explain what's going on here at the Circuit of the Americas. Joey?
Hey, gang, what we had was actually two situations there. The 07 car, Nelson Piquet, initiated the contact that started the red flag. We've deemed that he is the cause of that red flag condition, and per our rules, you cannot benefit, or if you cause a red flag, you are scored as a DNF. So Nelson's not going to be allowed to, the 07 car is not going to be allowed to restart this line.
Okay, well that's interesting. And the steering on Abreu's car doesn't look good.
Absolutely not. The steering on the 51 is broken, and we're not going to allow the 51 to restart the race as well. We think that we would have an issue on the start with that car having contact with one of the other cars.
Okay. Thanks, Joey. That's good to hear, right from the heart of race control. So Piquet Jr. unable to start this race. There's similar rules in other forms of motorsport, Paul. If you cause a red flag or if you cause a race stoppage, some championships, they don't necessarily throw you out, but you've got to return the vehicle, the bike, the car, whatever it is, to Parc Fermé in a couple of minutes. And if you don't, then you get thrown out. Other racing drivers in the past in Formula One have had an accident on the first lap, bluffed the marshals saying, oh, my gearbox is blocked. Actually, their foot is on the brake. And then they get the opportunity to restart, jump in the spare car in the old days, and off you go. So there's a bit of gamesmanship that can happen.
Yeah, and that's why the rules, they seem pretty harsh, but it is due to, well, drivers being drivers. And if there's an advantage to be eked out of what we'd say is a bit of a gray area there where you could just kind of fake it and cause a red flag because you didn't like the start you got, for instance, you could just park your car right there and get another one.
It's cruel luck for Piquet Jr., I feel for him, actually. I mean, he made a bit of a mistake and others then hit into him. That's racing, one could say, but the rules are the rules. His body language says it all. But he'll be back out with the Rallycross supercars later. So, no Piquet Jr., no Abreu. So we've got 4 cars going to be battling over the next 10 laps to see who can win this Rallycross Lights race here at X Games Austin. On the pole position is De Jong. In second place is Ericsson. Off we go. Is it going to be between the two blue and white cars? Leading into the first corner, it's going to be Mitchell De Jong from Kevin Ericsson. And look at Sykes having a look up on the inside. Up to third position. He's up to third, but then he goes back down to fourth. Oh, he pushes him way out wide before they hit the jump.
And that really cost them both quite a bit of time and let Ericsson and De Jong get away. So look at all that side-by-side back there. That's going to make it difficult. I think we might be looking at two different races here. Maybe the Joker lap will help them get back in there. Whoa, pretty wide there for Sykes.
He's picking up an inside front wheel as he really leans on that car, isn't he? Austin Cindric in front of him, whilst Sykes goes the long way around. Cindric takes the Joker lap for his one and only time on that lap. Still leading is Mitchell De Jong, who has also taken the Joker together with Kevin Ericsson. So the American leads ahead of the Swede here in Texas.
And De Jong coming off the wins at Linden Hill just a couple of weeks ago, where he went over there with the lights cars and for a learning experience, quote unquote, and ended up winning all of his races over there. And he's just over the moon over that. Even Ericsson, I was talking to him in the paddock, and he said he was really impressed with De Jong and his speed. So we're going to have to see if Ericsson can put his head down here and close that gap. But these guys, teammates, close friends, and they actually share setup even information between themselves and do data overlays between themselves. So they're very close, and they're pretty close on the track right now. I wonder how far that friendship is going to carry.
Now, International Rallycross has really had its heartland in Scandinavia, Norway, Finland, Sweden, a real heartland for Rallycross, and that's why we have seen the explosion of Rallycross all over the world of late, particularly with Andreas Ericsson, who has built a lot of these cars and built a lot of the Ford supercars that we will see here later. But it's the American who's showing the Swede the way here, and indeed on a world stage.
Yeah, it's really impressive stuff. And Mitchell coming out of go-karting, he's raced in off-road trucks as well, and also in road racing and Formula car stuff. So he's kind of got that nice balance of experience, and that's what you see a lot of times in the series. The guys that are successful don't just have one discipline at their disposal, but because of course we're racing on both surfaces here, so it's a handy thing to have been in a pro lights truck or any sort of off-road vehicle or Baja type vehicle, and also done some road racing. And those guys usually kind of the cream rises to the top in that case.
Nothing like experiencing whatever you sit in whatever car, whether it be understeers and oversteers, whether it's downforce and aerodynamics and absolute grip, or whether it's a bit more fluid, one could say, of a Baja truck, for example.
Fluid's a good word.
Fluid's a good word, but there's nothing like experience. You hear about it so many times, and world champions say when they were coming through the ranks, I don't care what I drove, as long as I drove something every weekend.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter where you finish, to be honest, initially. It's all just a learning experience, and hopefully you take it as that. Any mistake you make, any bad setup you have, and you suffer through that race with that in the car, you're going to learn something huge from it. There's always a positive to take away from it.
And it's something that we have seen, the World Rally teams have come into Rallycross. We've seen Andretti coming over, of course, this year with Scott Speed and Tanner Faust, and they're bringing another element to Rallycross. Never is engineering complete.
No, it's never finished. There's always another level, isn't there? Just when you think it's as advanced, as fast, as spectacular as it can be, they come out and they shock you the next year with something new. And yeah, we've got, as you said, we've got IndyCar teams, not just Andretti, but KV Racing now, also an IndyCar team with Nelson Piquet Jr. So the level is really just continuously ratcheting up, and it never ceases to amaze and impress.
And these space frame-based cars are an ideal learning vehicle for the youngsters to get a little bit of moisture coming out of the car there. You can see some splashes on the windscreen when the light catches it, or is it just the washers that are actually integrated into the wipers themselves for the windshield leaked just a little bit. He doesn't want to wipe the wipers across the screen because it might impair his vision a bit.
Yeah, you get a bit of a smear there and end up with worse vision than you started with if you just left it on the windscreen in the first place. Look at that, you got me to say windscreen. You're rubbing up on me.
Hoods and bonnets and
Yes.
trunks
And aluminium coming.
aluminium. Oh, well, yeah, that's. Now then, with one more lap to go here in the Rallycross Lights final, Mitchell de Jong, he is going to be a star for the future. He really is a star at the moment, but on an international scene and at an X Games scene, a man that we are really going to have to keep an eye on.
He's looking really tidy in the hairpin every lap. I've been watching him each lap, and he does that little bit of the handbrake, turning the car in, and he does it. He never over-rotates the car. He slides it just enough. He gets the wheel straight, right back on the gas. It's very mechanical, methodical.
Mitchell de Jong takes the victory here in the Rallycross Lights at X Games Austin. Second place goes to Kevin Eriksson, and third place is going to be going to Austin Cindric. He gets on the podium in third position. What a great drive from all three of them as they have the opportunity. There is Austin's dad, a big smile on his face up there in the stands. Now let's have a look and see how de Jong rode those curbs. Absolutely inch perfect. There is a mark of a superstar.
Yeah, he's got a future. I mean, just like we saw with Veman, who's running, won all the races last year. I think we're almost seeing a repeat with that with de Jong. Look how tidy he is. Here he is going through the hairpin, just like he's talking about. Just the right amount of slip from the rear. Notice now he's got the oversteer. Watch the front wheels slowly go straight. He's able to put the power down now. There's those straight front wheels. And right up next to the barrier. Beautifully done. And he was doing that, just clicking that off lap after lap. And Eriksson was doing a beautiful job behind him, but just couldn't close the gap.
You get the rhythm, you get in the groove, literally on this racetrack. And Mitchell de Jong, inch perfect at every corner. Wow. What a great drive. What a great drive. The relief you can see even through the visor there as he gets handed a bit of welcome water. What a great way to start off our Rallycross action here at X Games Austin here today. Mitchell de Jong taking the victory ahead of Kevin Eriksson and Austin Cindric in third position. We have got a lot more action coming up here at the Circuit of the Americas today, including the Ford Rallycross Supercar action. So if you've got the opportunity, tune in and enjoy it.
X Games Austin is brought to you by Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. And by America's Navy, a global force for good. At X Games, dare bigger. 20 years, 20 firsts. Enabled by Kevlar. At X Games Los Angeles 2006, Travis Pastrana was looking to become the first person to land a double backflip in competition. Pastrana often referred to it as his most dangerous trick.
Quoting Travis, crash at the bottom, I'm done. If I crash up here at the top, there's a better possibility of survival.
Even Pastrana's own mother could barely watch as her son attempted to make history.
Everybody in this house is now standing up. Oh my word! A double backflip from Travis Pastrana. Are you kidding me?
To pull the double backflip off here, I promised myself after the first time I did it that I would never do it again. Here we are at X Games 12, and this is an awesome feeling.
Travis would take home the gold medal that day, as well as a page in the history books.